use for artificial intelligence. The Wall Street Journal says BuzzFeed will use the creator of GPT, to generate content for its websites. Among the reported uses, personalizing stories and writing quizzes that are tailored to each reader. A BuzzFeed spokesperson says the company remains focused on journalism written by actual humans.
Tyler, this went from us joking about it 2 weeks ago to now being the case.
It's the real thing. I mean, didn't we do an intro that was written by ChatGPT?
Yes. It was kind of a joke, but...
And it was pretty good.
It was great. Right. I'll see you soon, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
Inflation has peaked. The biggest increase in the last month and has remained is the renter equivalent number in the data, which was 0.8 positive. In reality, that was 0.34 negative. The lag in the housing data is completely distorting inflation. And since rents are falling, market rents are falling month to month, not year over year, month to month. They're going this way. You will see a negative number there, and it will look like energy. It'll come all the way down. So inflation will come down. And people who talk about keep raising rates, I hear these guys on your morning show, I want to strangle them. Volcker didn't have a $32 trillion deficit. So here's the actual interest number. The federal government spent the following amount of money the last 4 years on interest expense. In 2019, $375 billion, then $345, then $352, and last year, $475 billion. So here were the average interest rates those years. They were 0.5 in 2020, 0.1 in 2021. That's the average. These are LIBOR, SOFR rates. In 22, they were 1.9%. This year, they'll be 4.5%, 5% of 30 trillion.
We'll be up to $1 trillion.
$1 trillion plus dollars
on interest.
And on interest, and that's so the budget that the White House put out has a $400 billion number that they didn't update it for today's interest rates. This is their November number out of the White House, which is where they put the 1.7 trillion, this fiscal spending. So what he faces, if he keeps going up, you have the Weimar Republic. He has to keep printing dollars to pay interest on the deficit. And you wind up printing and putting tremendous pressure now on all ends of the curve, right? So that will really slow the economy if the 10-year goes to 5 because this thing gets out of control. And who's going to buy our paper? And we've pissed off the Chinese. They're not going to be buying our paper. And most countries are pulling back to their borders now with deglobalization. The banks will support themselves. So he risks this if he keeps going, these academics in Washington. He risks the entire financial stability of the system. You have the IMF and the World Bank telling you to stop raising rates. Because what we do in our little holes in Washington with our Federal Reserve banks impacts the entire globe's economy. And it's not like it's strong in Europe.
But
so
isn't this,
they can't afford higher rates.
But
They're worse off than we are.
Maybe this is what we need.
But it's coming your way.
Okay, so if rates go back down, then we'll say, hey, everything's fine.
So if he pulls this off, which he has a good shot of doing, actually, of having a soft landing, if he stops, he can have a mild recession is fine. I mean, it'll be fine. You don't destroy all these manufacturing jobs. We bring back, we onshore, we fix supply chains. He'll be good. I'd be bullish. If we keep this up, and obviously the political gridlock, and don't focus on things that matter in Washington, I would be.
If rates are higher, maybe we'll stop. That's what I'm saying. If we go right back to where you want to go, then we'll be like, okay, it's not $1 trillion in interest. We're back down to $300 billion in interest expense. But if we really are spending $1 trillion every year,
rates, but 2.5% low rate.
How do we finally? How can we spend on other things if our debt service is so high? And if it goes to $35 trillion,
we need a plan to reduce the long-term deficit. But here's
welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And we see the media now pushing AI. And we know AI is going to be embedded in everything that we do. You're not going to tell whether a human did it or a robot. And remember, you already have robot reporters over in Japan. And guys, we have 31 trillion in debt and counting. And because the Fed has raised interest rates, that is over $1 trillion in interest each year. Yes, you heard that correctly. And we know where that money is going, and we know our reserves are being empty. And we know the NWO caused the problem, wait for the reaction, and run in with the solution. We have Janet Yellen pulling from the retirement account. And also Congress is saying no income taxes. A 30% sales tax. And we know all this is being thrown out for the fourth industrial revolution. If nobody's working, no income taxes is going to be paid. And remember, the NWO moves in phases. This is not going to happen tomorrow. They're just setting it up when they kick in this digital transformation. So the bill is already going to be going through, and by the time they want to hit that button, the bill is already passed and the money is already ready. We're seeing the banks say they're going to be setting up wallets, and we know that's for the free money that they're going to be airdropping. And they have this fourth industrial revolution running like a machine because the masses are asleep. And the next thing up, of course, is regulation. Once they get this regulation passed through, remember that CBDCs and stablecoins are illegal. And that's the reason why they let all these companies go bankrupt, because the masses don't understand crypto. They don't know these big banks and big corporations were behind it from the beginning. So when Congress says they're going to regulate crypto, they're going to wait for the next distraction. So therefore, they can use crypto as a carrot. Remember, stablecoins and CBDCs are programmable, telling you what, when, when, and how to buy, and you have 3 to 6 months to spend it, or poof, it's gone. And we're only one crisis away. Before that comes our reality. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows, when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Blockchain right now is an emerging technology. There are industries all over our country that are looking at how can blockchain or a distributed ledger be useful in their business to cut down on agency costs. And those don't always have to be completely disruptive. They might be more gradual as that innovation takes place. I mean, right now, for example, I love the comment the other day where somebody said a transaction using Bitcoin takes so long my coffee is cold. So this is not right now a technology that's ready for prime time in a real-time payments industry, but we want to make sure that America is the place for innovation in fintech, and blockchain and distributed ledger technology is part of that fintech future.
Well, it has real consequences to not have a framework in place. And, you know, I'm not saying that Sam Bankman-Fried didn't bring it on himself, but we certainly enabled some of that to be offshore. And I mean, it's going to help. It's going to help the industry, and it's going to help the technology if Congress could get its act together. Do you think there should be a spot Bitcoin fund? That's not going anywhere now either.
Yeah, so that's what we want to explore with this Digital Assets Committee. I think you'll see us look at a privacy law, a federal privacy law. I think you'll see us consider a stablecoin bill that we made progress on in the last Congress with work from our leader, Patrick McHenry, on the committee, and then Chair Maxine Waters. I think you'll see us explore what are the ramifications for the securities market and work with the Agriculture Committee in the House and Senate on the commodity aspect of it, trading the coins and running, how should the exchanges be overseen. All that's on the table, and all that's going to be a priority for this year.
You think it's going to be this year, and you think it can be bipartisan when it's all said and done? That would take I don't know, that we're not there right now.
Hey, I specialize in bipartisan. This is an area that's important for our country. We need this regulatory framework, and we need to come together to have it, or we're going to have continued chaos that we saw last year with a string of bankruptcies across the industry. That's not helpful to developers, to the industry, to innovation, and certainly not to investors and consumers.
You can't really tell the SEC what to do, can you? I mean, that's going to be as long as Gary Gensler's there. Do you see any progress really being made?
Well, Chair Gensler says he was the cop on the beat last year. Gary Gensler also says that he's an expert in this area because he taught it in graduate school, blockchain and distributed ledger technology. So we'll invite him up to Congress to tell us what he knows and what he recommends in this area and what he was doing last year when we had so many challenges for our investors and our consumers.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leverage to technology, and I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
Powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. You know, I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York. From COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.